Hello, everyone. Welcome, Inner Sanctum fans, to the Supercoach YouTube show for preview of round 3 and a review of round 2. Joined again by Mike, Mick, and Dan. Good to see you guys.
Hey, Scott.
Hey.
All good. Let's jump straight into it and let's have a bit of a chat about how round 2 went for you. Mike, you might want to start us off. Fill us in. Maybe your last week we talked about Gary's and Nathan's, us gun Gary Ablets and not so guns Nathan Ablets. Just maybe share your Nathan and your Gary from your team from round 2.
Yeah, look, I was really pleased. 21 out of 22, really well performed this weekend, and I would have been pushing 2250 and above had I not have had the C on Maxi Gawn. So getting 0 doubled didn't bode too well, but I still managed to score just shy of 2,000. Didn't get me a league win, unfortunately, but if I did have Maxi, so he's not my Nathan. I'll tell you who's my Nathan. That's Jack Viney. He's the dud who ran into Maxi and it's going to cost me a trade, I reckon. So plenty to be buoyant about, but didn't come away with anything this weekend.
What about you, Mick? Your Nathan / Gary?
The Gary would probably have to be Luke Davies-Uniacke, who I traded in this week after Josh Kelly went down. I know Kelly's only going to be out for a week, but with the luxury of 36 trades, I thought I could probably burn one and bring LVU in and see what he can put out there. So 155 from him was incredible. He's just an absolute gun and gets plenty of contested ball. Probably the Nathan would have to be Chesser again. He's only pumped out 27 this week, so I think he's on the chopping block. And Nat Fife didn't get named, and from what I've heard today, he's out for a good 4 to 5, so he's also out the door this week.
Oh, yeah, fair recall. We did say last week, did Jim? But anyway, I can't believe you held on him for another week. But glad you're going to get rid of him. Dan, what about you, mate?
2177 this week, with Oliver as a captain with a bit of a loophole with the Saints ruckman that's out for however many weeks. But my Gaz was definitely Laird, who came back after that really poor showing last week. And I was right. We were talking about it off recording about what was going on, and I said that he may have had a case of the runs. And the suggestion is he was not all there, so he was a bit crook, but he performed 147. And last week I was giving a bit of support to Cunners and he didn't pull it through. 85 just wasn't good enough. And his time on ground, he was 20 minutes less than LDU. I don't think he's gonna. I don't know. He could pull it out, but I think the time's now to get rid of him. So I'm gonna put him on the chopping block.
Well, from my perspective, Tom Stewart going down was a bit of a shame, but I took the punt on Nick Daicos, and it sort of pains me being a Geelong fan to have him in my side, but to score 149 for me, I think he'll probably just stay there all year unless he gets injured. So he was my Gary for sure. And even though I had a league win, I think I had about 4 blokes, so I wish they're my Nathan's, man. They're just struggling. And Andy Brayshaw, 106 only as a captain. And I've got Jack Steele as a bit of a point of difference, and now he's down for 5 or 6 weeks probably. So gonna have to make some more trades already, but that's the way it goes. We'll have a look at Mike mentioned Max Gawn and his 0 doubled. We'll have a look a bit of the ruck conundrum. Obviously, we've got Max Gawn 0 and what we do with him. Mike, what are your plans given you've got him for Maxi Gawn?
The irony isn't lost, Scott, that we had the conversation before round 1. And you were saying Maxi and I was saying English, and you went English and I went Maxi, and here I am likely to go Maxi to English. I had Witzel. I had Witzel last year, so I think it's between the one of the two. I think I can make an extra 40 or 50,000 in the trade to English. He's got a slightly better average, so it's probably where I'm leaning, I reckon.
Yeah, Mike. I'm sorry, Mick or Dan. You guys got Maxi Gawn?
No, I don't have him. I had started with English and Marshall and put my C on English this week after Doherty's 73 is my VC. So that paid dividends. He got 139 English. He's looks like to be one of the most consistent ruckmen this year, I think.
I guess the other ruck conundrum we might have is Sean Darcy, who plenty of people have got, only 41 points on the weekend. I think we had one of our fans, in quotes, Dan, inquiring about Sean Darcy. What do you reckon about Sean Darcy, Dan?
Yeah, I think that ruck duo is just not working for them, and there was lots of call about the midfield of Freo and the fact that they got absolutely dominated by Norths, and I think he was a bit of a key there, obviously up against Goldstein, but it's not working. But the flip side is, like, you've got Gawn, obviously, you've got the 00, so in 4 to 6 weeks he could be very cheap. So left of field option, why not go like a Darcy Cameron, right? Forward ruck. He's currently the 5th highest averaging forward. Bring him in, swap him forward when Gawn comes back, trade someone out, make yourself, a couple of 100,000 and shore up your ruck options. I think that could be the go.
Yeah, I don't know where.
You're gonna need another forward to swap with Cameron once the time comes, obviously.
You would, yeah.
That's when a big Asava Radugalia, who's still sitting there on your bench, can nicely be moved and then ditched, which I already want to ditch it, but that's rage trade talk. With plenty of ruck choices out there. English averaging 137, Darcy Cameron, like you said, Jared Witt's 124 average, Rowan Marshall scored 129 last week. I think we mentioned last week that for captains you can't really go wrong with rucks unless you pick Max Gawn and he scores 0.
I like that.
The verdict is in. Max Gawn gone. Max Gawn gone. That's hard to say. And Sean Darcy, give the flick. Let's have a chat then about, this is the big week, obviously, with the price rises and the rookies, essentially, that we need to make sure we've got the right ones in our side. I reckon we're pretty all on the same page. Harry Sheasel, must have. Give us a thumbs up.
Absolutely, yeah. 114 average over the first 2 weeks. No brainer.
I reckon. Will Ashcroft, after his poorish first game, 105 last week, he's a no-brainer if you haven't got him. Cade Chandler, how many of us have got Cade Chandler and / thinking about him?
I'll be bringing him in.
What about you?
Definitely. I'll be bringing him in this week. Yeah, find a way to bring him in. His break evens is -94, averaging 82. So his price is going to jump by a good 70, 80k this week if he has another similar score. So I'll find a way to bring him in. It'll be possibly through dual position, or just get rid of probably Nat Fife will probably make way for him actually.
Mike, what about Ruben Gimby, your boy, West Coast? Must have?
Yeah, I am. He's a unit. Old Rubes. As an 18-year-old, I don't understand that people can get that big by the time they've just turned 18. But he's already leading the comp in tackles after 2 rounds. So even if he's not once he learns how to get the footy more and those clearances number jumps up, expect those 80s to turn into 100s. And I reckon he's one of those ones that can make it sort of 300, 350,000. He's a contested beast. As I said, he tackles. Definitely a hold. And being a West Coast supporter, I watched him very, very closely on the weekend, and he's made of the good stuff. About time.
And one I've got, which I reckon's a must-have for everyone out there, is Conor McKenna. That's not the first time you said that. He's averaging 86. Defender 160 odd K, break even -76. I think he's a no-brainer if you haven't got him as well. They're the 5 I sort of thought of, and then I'll just chuck a few names at you guys and see what you think, or if you've got ones that you think people should have. Dan, is there anyone else, rookies, you think are must-haves?
I don't think there are any more must-haves for rookies, but then we had a few good scores on the weekend. For the players that we haven't mentioned, I think we've got them in the next list of possibles. But no one that really jumps out. Yes, we've got to bring in this person.
What about you, Mick? Any other rookies you haven't got that you think, I got to get them in?
No, they're the main 4. The other one with the next sort of biggest highest break or lowest break even, I should say, is Buckley, Jack Buckley from GWS. But he is priced at 205k. averaging 88, which is it's worth contemplating. But those more expensive rookies, anything over 200k, I think we've got enough of those in the team now. And then you move on to your Noah Longs, Charlie Constables. I think most of us probably already started with anyway. So if you don't have those two guys, the ones to consider. But I think, Sheasel, Chandler, McKenna, Gibney, definitely ones you need to target.
Any others, Mike, that we've missed? You reckon we need to have a bit left field?
Yeah, look, I was really buoyed. I think I said last episode about Finn Callahan from the GWS Giants. So because I picked him, I was watching him pretty closely, and he copped a shoulder knock in the first quarter. Only managed to get 45, but if he's back on the park, I think he's one to definitely have in your side. Got 100 the first week. He's playing in the middle and across half back, and he accumulates the ball. So it was really only an injury that prevented him from getting another score 80, 90 plus. So that's another one. He's 244, so he's not in the rookie realm, but still pretty cheap.
Yeah, one that I thought of was obviously we've just mentioned Charlie Constable briefly being a Geelong man. He was in anyway because I reckon he's a good user of the ball and he butchered it like anything the first 2 weeks. But I think he'll get plenty of opportunity to score big. The other one was Josh Bruce. I was just watching the doggies on Saturday night. And he just was collecting possessions at will. I'm like, Jesus, who is this guy? So I have absolutely no idea how much he scored last week, but 74. I just looked it up. So I mean, if he's averaging sort of low 80s even, he'd be sort of one that's going to make a fair bit of money. So he's one I might look at getting in if I can. But unfortunately, with injuries, I've got a few other things that need fixing.
Yeah.
Well, what about some other must-haves, if you like? So ones that are sort of more expensive, over the 300k plus. Mick, I might throw to you first with a Bombers man to consider. Will Setterfield, what do you reckon?
With Setterfield, yeah, definitely. He was amazing against the Gold Coast. It looks like Brad Scott's going to use him in the midfield pretty heavily, and the way he attacked the ball yesterday was phenomenal. He went in hard at it, and he's become a good in and under player for us already. Gets those really hard contested possessions that the likes of Parrish and Merritt don't get as much. So I think he's going to be used a lot in that midfield role. He's averaged 123 so far out of the first 2 games. He's yesterday 147 alone. And priced at 348k. So I think he's going to make us some really good coin. Probably end up, probably don't know if he's going to be a top 8 midfielder to finish the season off with, but he'll definitely make a good 150, 200k possibly for trade and then trade him up.
So your vote is yes then?
My vote's yes. Bring him in.
I'm so torn. I just mid prices who have one good game. I can never know. You're the Essendon man. You watch me closely.
He's had 2 good games. Yeah.
Dan, you got any others?
The rest of his career, in fairness.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, obviously being a Carlton supporter, and him coming from us, he is an inside player. So if you're playing him as an inside ball, he'll get the ball. But we were playing him as an outside mid. Didn't really suit him, so I think that's something to look at. But I don't know. I think for the other some mid-price players, Warple has gone back-to-back hundreds. The team's getting pumped, and he's still scoring around about 100 points. So I think he's one that has to be up there.
And Hopper, I think would be another one for sure. Hopper came back with a 119 on the weekend after he scored about 70 odd possibly in the first round.
Yeah.
So
and he was going to be mine, Mick.
At 330. Yeah.
He was going to be mine, Mick. The mid ranger, 119, only had 23 possessions. Kicked a goal. I think he may have been hampered by a slight injury in the second half. I think he was 80 or something at half time.
He was.
He's definitely going to be increasing in value pretty rapidly. And unlike your Tarantos, and again, we spoke about this before, round 1, he taking them both. Taranto's break even, I think, is 87 or 88, and at 500,000, he gets so much of the ball, but he just doesn't. He's not efficient by foot. So pleased with that decision, and Hopper's a must-have.
Well, from my perspective, it's very handy in the sense that Jack Steele's gone down, because trying to find a way to get Luke Davies-Uniacke in if you haven't got him, just watching North the last 2 weeks, he has taken that next step and averaging just under 150 for the first 2 games. There's already 10% of teams have brought him in this week, and with good reason. So he's the one that I'm certainly considering strongly. Dan, you got any others we think we should be looking at? There were sort of must-haves going into round 3.
We were just talking at the end of last week about Freo backline, and Brennan Cox and Luke Ryan yet again, big scores. Brennan Cox was just intercept marking, and Luke Ryan takes every kick out. I don't know. I think it's one of those Victorian biases, isn't it, that no one's sort of talking about him. But a couple of years ago he was D1, D2. He could be that again. So I think it's worth, if you've got the other ones, maybe look at trying to fit him in somewhere. If you've got maybe a Bailey Dale or something that's not really pulling it out in the back six.
Yeah, I guess it sort of depends what your needs are. But yeah, that Luke Ryan one is also very tempting. We all want to make about 10 trades. Shame we don't have that many.
At least I got 3 this year.
Yeah,
that's definitely time. Definitely time for a boost this round, I think.
Yeah. Mike, any others?
No, I don't think. I sort of mentioned Hopper and Callahan, but I think in terms of, this is probably one of the most important trade rounds of the year, and I always sort of max out on my trades this year because it really sort of sets you up. This is the biggest potentially price increase and price drop that you can sort of predict early. So 4 trades coming from me this weekend.
4? Just the 3,
4?
mate?
3 trades coming from me this weekend.
No wonder you're just a bit pricey yourself in the Supercoach.
6 trades.
6 trades. Can't I have all my 5 boosts at once?
If only.
Yeah.
One more from me, a couple more from me real quickly. Nick Daicos, if you haven't got him in there. Those out there, try and find a way. I cannot see him averaging less than 115, 120. So get him before his price rises too much. He's still cheap enough, I reckon. And the one that is slightly perplexing to me, I don't know, I haven't watched him that closely, is we've already got about 6 or 7% of teams bringing Jack Siebel in. He's averaged 113 over the first 2 rounds. Dan, what are your thoughts on Jack Siebel?
I watched the game, and he's always been a good user. He stands up for the team. But look, who have North played so far? Like, Fremantle dished up nothing on the weekend. West Coast, sorry, Mike. They've got Hawks this week. Look, they'll beat up on teams, I think, this year that are lower than them because they've got that sort of killer instinct in the middle. But like the big bodies in the middle. But I don't know. It's really tough. If we had another 3 weeks to see how they went against some decent opposition, I might strongly think about it. But he's shown it in previous seasons. But I think in the last 5 years he averaged that over 100 when he was playing in that backline role where he's just the user through the backline. And I don't think he's really averaged about 100 previous to that. So it's an interesting one. I think there are probably safer options out there for people to choose.
Yeah, I mean, if you could change your side every week, maybe you'd put him in for when he's playing the likes of Hawthorn, like you said. But yeah, I find it surprising that so many people are jumping on board, but maybe they're seeing something that we aren't. I don't know. We'll have a look and then ahead to our strategies for round 3. Just talking about how many trades we might consider using and our captain options. Mick, what are you thinking? What's your plan at this early stage of the week for round 3?
Round 3, so definitely be 3 trades. I need to bring in Daicos. I need to bring in Chandler, and I'm pretty certain I haven't got centre field in my team either at this stage. So they're the 3. I'll be finding a way to get in. I've got about 400k in the bank, so I can make it work by getting rid of the likes of Fife and Chesser, and still have enough coin to make those trades. Thursday night game, Doggies Brisbane. Tim English will get the VC for me, and then loophole probably into, I'd say, David Zuniacki playing on the Saturday if needed. But if it hits that 120 sweet spot, it's always that difficult choice to make. Do you use it? Do you not? So I usually have 120 as my benchmark. If a player gets 120, I'm sticking with it.
Dan, what about you? You said you had Rory Laird, yeah? Obviously you're going to keep him. What are you thinking this week?
Yeah. No, I'll hold Laird. My three that I'm going to get rid of, and I will get rid of three. I think that's the consensus this week, is just use that boost. Would have to be Bailey Dale. He's gone for me, and I don't even know why I had him. Like I don't even like the bloke. No, he seems like a nice enough guy, but I don't even know. I don't even know why I got him. It was one of those ones that like I didn't have him in my team, and then the day of the game, I reckon I traded him, swapped him out, and funnily enough, the guy that I swapped him out for was was Nick Daicos. So he's coming in. It's just three weeks late. The other one would be Ben Cunnington. He's gone, and I'll have to toss up between Hopper and Setters and LDU and see what goes on there. And then the last one would be my left of field defensive option that has not worked out was Jarman Impey, and so he's gone as well. I don't know. I have a roll of the dice on them, and if they don't play out, well, I'll cut my losses and bring in someone. So maybe Chandler or just stick with the mid prices. I think there's plenty of value around for those cheaper ones. I think Darcy Wilmot was one that has got 60s as well in the back line. So there's players out there that scoring well.
You are certainly of the four of us, Dan. You're going to be the one with the most unique, different sort of players that we talk about each week. I just wanted to make sure. So Lockie Ash, by the way, did he get the flick after last week?
Yeah, he did. I think he ended up scoring like an okay-ish score this week.
No regrets, though.
That's still not good enough. No regrets. And well, even though the guy I brought in was the downhill skier in Jason Horne-Francis. So we'll see how he goes this week against the Crows in the showdown. So flat track bullies the Port Adelaide Football Club. They should be able to turn it around on their home deck and get a big win against Adelaide.
I must say that a large portion of the Inner Sanctum is Port people, so we won't want to piss them off too much. We love Port. Love you out there.
Hi, Port people.
They do well at home. That's all I'm saying.
So we'll just have a little list each week. Lockie Ash and the Bailey Dale watch now. I like it. Mike, what about you, mate? What are you thinking?
Look, I'm interested to see.
You want to use 20 trades, so you know.
I do want to use it. I'd use 7. Obviously, I think everybody would. I'm interested to see what happens in Dunkley's return to against his old side on Thursday night. I think Bulldogs, after 2 pretty ordinary showings, coming off a 5-day break, expect the Brisbane midfield to run riot. So I might try there, but I don't think I should be giving any advice on captain. I don't think I've ever scored a 0-0 before in my Supercoach career. So I was kind of hoping. I do recall that if they scored 0 or minus points in the old days, that you had the chance to VC, but not anymore. And then look, if I bring in Daicos as the other option, but I don't have him at the moment. I'm not as maybe Oliver as well, or a Neil, which he's been slightly below average. But I think Dunkley is the way to go this weekend for me.
Well, from my personal perspective, I think I'm just joining the chorus, so to speak. All 4 of us saying let's use 3 trades. I think that's a no-brainer. If you haven't got any of those rookies, I haven't got Chandler, so he's the one. I've got the rest of them, luckily, so I don't have to bother worrying about too much trying to get the other ones in. It's just a matter I have to waste the trade, or unfortunately for Jack Steele, because I was happy to sort of keep him along as a bit of a point of difference, and then I'll just look at where the gaps need to be filled. In terms of my side, I've got some. I have managed to somehow go with a lot of people who just are playing average football at the moment. McRae's got less than 90. Brayshaw's averaging 88. Tug Miller only got 100. But my Max Holmes scored 102, so he might hang around for one.
He's stuck with him.
Oh dear. Any last minute last words, Minnie, for Mike for round 3?
Look, if I can get a captain on the park and start shooting up above 2,000, I think just like any AFL side, I just want to bank my first win, which would be nice, and get on the board.
Dan, any last words for round 3 for the fans out there?
I just think watch your VC loophole on this one, because if you look at it, like I think lots of people probably have that Saints second ruckman or a West Coast second ruck, and they're playing a little bit sort of like in between, I think, in the program this weekend. So just check it, make sure that you've got your cover, because I'm in a similar position. So Mike, looking at it, the best option's probably Dunkley on the Friday if I want to try and loophole anything. Otherwise, I'll just have to go straight out captain on Laird or Oliver.
Mick, last words, round 3.
Yeah, just keep an eye on those big price jumps this week. I think another strategy that we haven't really discussed so far is whether you guys have a rookie or a playing R3 at this stage, or if you have, like a lot of the competition, have put Nick Madden in from GWS to use as a non-playing loophole player, which is what I've done. I think it's I don't think there is any rookie rucks really that we can look at to make us any decent coin like there have been in the past. So that's my strategy for this season. I'm going to be sticking with that all year through. But other than that, just enjoy the Bombers chalking up another win.
No rookie rucks. Asava, mate. He's cheap as. I have to suspect that his price is not going to go too much higher, but you never know. All right, that's it for this week's show. Thanks to the 3 of you for joining me this week. Please have a look at the Inner Sanctums website. Check out the YouTube channel. There's a great actual video with interview with Brad Ollins, which I had a look at today that was done. So that's a great watch. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.